Hello, I'm Casey Weber, and this is my mind map on literacy. The center focus of literacy I have represented with an eyeball overlooking the entire world. The reason why I chose this is because I think literacy helps with our entire perspective, viewpoint, and communication skills that are used in our daily lives. Now, I've never been good with dates, so I broke my mind map into major components that I best understood the theories and how I went about organizing the information that we learned from the slides. For the first major component, I'm going to talk about reading. Reading has an overall goal that should focus on comprehension, interpretation, application, and word recognition. I broke that down according to oral and silent methods. Oral methods are supposed to help with our expression. It was once our primary focus and our primary method for helping children to succeed with reading. Oral reading is done with guidance and feedback from the instructor, as shown in the picture. An opposite method, before these two were blended together, is silent reading, which, as we have learned, Parker thinks is very practical and effective in teaching students how to read. Judd says it's even better than oral reading, because the little to no guidance that's done through this method is to help students define their grasp, their own stance, and to listen to their own personal thoughts when reading. Moving along to the actual instruction, which is my second major component, I broke this down in accordance to fluency, DRA, and reading comprehension. Instruction is supposed to be related to the lives and experience of students. With fluency, we're looking specifically at the speed, accuracy, and expression. We have to keep in mind the major components we just talked about with reading, in that oral reading is supposed to encourage them with guidance, and silent reading is supposed to help them take things outside of the classroom. So when actually working with reading in the classroom, we're focusing on the DRA of SQ3R, which we learned stands for survey, question, read, review, and recite. It then is the teacher's important job to focus on reading comprehension. And when working with reading comprehension, we have to keep in mind that vocabulary development is crucial, and it should be taught both directly and indirectly, with repetition. Also, rich context should be used, such as technology, which is represented by a computer and is part of the teacher's responsibility in helping students to make connections. Moving along to Goodman's 3-cueing system. I broke this down to graphophonic system, syntactic system, and semantic system. The graphophonic system is represented by sound and written word. Goodman believes that reading should be a natural process, which is why I have a fingerprint underneath semantic system. Because to me, their meaning, based upon their own culture and experience, is their own individual take of the natural process of learning to read. Syntactic system is the actual form of the grammar. And moving on to Shaw's phonics at the top, I broke this down into contextualized, not isolated words, letters corresponding with sound, and the actual goal. Teaching should be stressed by how letters correspond to sounds, and this is to help with knowledge in both reading and spelling. There should be a constant review of the association between the letters and the sounds, which is why this should be spread out over the years, which I have represented by a calendar. This type of instruction should not only be done in early years of learning to read, but stressed throughout middle school, junior high, and even early years of high school, constantly building on vocabulary development. And last is the overall goal of literacy, which I have represented by comprehension, interpretation, and application. I I have a picture of electricity and the connection being made to show that this is the actual foundation of student success. What they get out of their reading, how they define themselves as learners, how they define themselves as students, and how they define themselves as readers. This is the direct connection they're making. Thank you.